Today is Superman Day, my glorious DC fans, and to celebrate, James Gunn has decided to bless us with a new behind-the-scenes featurette for Superman. I know, a lot of us were hoping we would get a second trailer for the Superman movie, but they did just recently release 5 whole minutes of the film with Superman screaming. Plus, also today, with it being Superman Day, we are getting hit left and right with Superman merchandise. You want Superman Uno cards? Oh, no. How about a Superman Funko Pop? But although you might think not much would be revealed in this behind-the-scenes featurette for the movie, oh my goodness, a lot of bombshells were just dropped. Some that continue to change my perspective on what the heck is going down in this movie. So that's exactly what I'll be doing here for you guys. I'll giving you a quick rundown and breakdown for this Superman featurette, pointing out some of the newer things we didn't know about this movie, some of the weird mysteries going on, and does this make us excited or even more concerned for this film? Because, hey, I'm being honest, I'm excited for this movie, but every time I learn about a new plot point, a new character, a new thing in this film, I'm like, this thing is stuffed. This thing is stuffed harder than a double stuffed Oreo, and I stuffed those down my esophagus. So please, let me know your opinions and what you think of this. Okay, so the featurette kind of starts off with James Gunn, which I do think is kind of funny. It's been a kind of running internet joke lately that anytime we get a new behind-the-scene photo of Superman, James Gunn just has to appear in it. Whether it's him with Lex Luthor and Superman, him with Jimmy Olsen, and this featurette is no different. It is also very much focused on praising James Gunn.
His scripts are so unique, his stories, they're heartfelt.
James and his stories, he does it with heart.
In James Gunn we trust, and I think we can do it.
And you know what? If he ends up pulling off this movie, he has earned every right to be just showing himself as part of the entirety of the DCU. But aside from looking at the behind the scenes of a lot of sequences that we've already seen from this movie, one that kind of surprised me is like the robots in that Superman clip ended up being practical. I thought those things were fully CGI and they actually have them built for the movie. That's kind of amazing. But the first big bombshell that this featurette dropped was our first look at Metamorpho. This is a character I am the most fascinated with being involved with Superman because I feel like this guy is a real big threat to Superman, and I feel like he's going to be a big part of the story, but they've been really hiding him from the marketing and just anything involved with this film. He did show up for like a second in one of the trailers where you get a close-up of his face, but here we get a much more full look, and thanks to the merchandise that has been dropping today, we also get a better look at his bottom half. Still though, the reason I've been excited for Metamorpho is because I think he's such a cool, super-powered being. He has the ability to turn into any solid, liquid, or gas that does include kryptonite, and the reason I've kind of been so fascinated with this character is because I think he's going to be like a crucial plot point figure where I think a lot of superpowered people are going to see him as a really big threat, wanting to contain him, possibly lock him up, and Superman is going to see that very differently and not want to do that to this person, give them a chance to prove themselves. But that's just a theory for now. Even just thinking about the way his powers could end up looking in live action, ooh, this is going to be such a cool character. But heck, even on that note, man, the amount of unknown characters we had no idea were popping up in this film are just growing larger and larger. Through more sequences in this behind-the-scenes featurette, we get this one really awesome shot of what looks like a person in a mechanized tech suit walking out of a space ball. And looking at this, my mind immediately went to, oh, is this our first look at Lex Luthor's mechanized suit that he'll put on so that he can fight against Superman? I mean, seeing the army that Lex Luthor has that we know are part of this movie, and we even get a group shot with James Gunn there, these feel like the baby steps and tech that will eventually lead us to Lex Luthor putting on a mechanized suit. I just didn't know if it would happen in this movie. But DC fans were then really quick to point out that this character looks an awful lot like a character that was being shown off in newspaper clippings on the set of Superman, where he's called the Hammer of Barovia. Barovia, I believe, is said to be this fictional location that is kind of representing the Middle East in a way, and we have a conflict with them in America, and this could end up being another source of of tension with Superman where he probably wants to go there, save a bunch of people who are in the middle of war, but the US government might be like, hey, not your place, Superman, get back over here. We tell you when to go save people, which is something Superman would really not be happy with. And again, right there, that's just another character that I'm trying to figure out, how does this fit into everything going on? Because let's look at it down. We got Lex Luthor, who's looking rather handsome lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We got him fighting a kaiju, and the merchandise reveals that Lex Luthor seems to be heavily involved with the birth of this kaiju. We got this hammer of Baravia that's going to be a problem for Superman. We got now the Metamorpho issue. We then got his superpowered friends that are also looking to be against him. This movie is stuffed to the brim, and guys, we just discovered something else that completely changes everything we knew about this film.
Flappin' Flotsam, what's that?
But before I get to mentioning that earth-shattering discovery, just a couple of other little things I really wanted to talk about with this featurette. For one, we get an inside look to Mr. Terrific's spaceship vehicle. I'm liking the interior a lot. I would say it looks terrific.
Say that again?
That's just another character I'm intrigued about with this movie, and him being branded as the third smartest person in the DCU. I can't wait to see how they utilize his tech and even his T-spheres, which you can see a row of them back here. This featurette also continues to solidify how much I'm falling absolutely in love with this Superman suit. You guys know it's been a long journey since the first look photo where I really struggled with it. I saw it and I was like, I don't know. I can maybe get used to this suit. Now I've gone full 180 where David Cornsweat standing next to Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and he just looks magnificent. Perfect. I love the vibrant popping colors of this suit. If I ever meet James Gunn, I need to ask him what compelled you to make this version of the suit the first look we saw as compared to this. But okay, getting back to this ominous weird shot that blows open the door to what is happening in this Superman film. It is this moment here where it's Lex Luthor looking to be next to some of his Luthor soldiers, but if you zoom in, Lex Luthor's having a conversation with a very pasty white ET looking mofo. And once I saw that going around, I was like, oh my goodness, what is even happening in this film? Yet another obstacle in character we can add to the things going on in Superman. Do you guys remember? There's been reports going around that there's test screenings that have happened for Superman. And whether you want to believe they were positive or negative, honestly, it's up to you, because there have been positive reactions and there have been people saying, no, the actions are negative. But one statement that was made that did catch my attention is that they describe Superman being a movie that doesn't really have a plot, but more Superman just jumping through obstacle until we get to the end of the movie. And I'm just wondering, is that then how they stuff so much movie into one, that this is kind of like one big movie that's compiled of a bunch of mini little battles that Superman goes through? I don't know how I'd feel about that. Again, I'd have to see how that plays out. That could be amazing in the movie, but seeing all this stuff that we're getting revealed, it's making sense now why someone would say the movie doesn't have a plot. It's just Superman battling thing after thing after thing until it's over. But okay, let's get into the theories on who DC fans think this is, because no one has a definitive 100% answer. I think the most likely theory that is possibly true is this could be our first look at white Martians in the DCU. White Martians are usually associated with green Martians. Those are the people of Martian Manhunter. But the biggest difference between white Martians and green Martians is that white Martians are more violent, are prone to war, while green Martians are more peaceful. They both have that shape-shifting ability, so they could end up being anybody around you, which has also led people to think that maybe this is the person inside the Ultraman suit who fights Superman. And that would also make sense, because in the comics, white Martians are supposed to be very strong beings where they can fight up against Kryptonians. This could also lead in and open the doorway for us to eventually get introduced to Martian Manhunter, somebody that has been teased by James Gunn when he posted a picture of some Oreo-like cookies, which are Martian Manhunter's favorite snack. And again, I want to be clear, although I'm like slightly complaining or being concerned about what is going on, so much stuff happening in this movie, I still got faith in James Gunn, and I'm sure he can pull it off. And there is a side of me that is like, wow, how amazing that James Gunn is really making this film feel like an absolute comic book filled universe. There is so much going on in this one movie, but even just from the trailers and behind the scenes look, it feels very lived in, very lively. Like so many other things are happening in this world. I can't wait till we get more movies in this universe. So we'll see. The other theory that's going around right now that I guess we can't ignore, since there is imagery every now and then of it, is that maybe this is Lex Luthor's first attempt at cloning Superman, which has been an ongoing theory of who Ultraman is, a clone of Superman, and this could end up being Bizarro eventually. We do see Lex Luthor in the Fortress of Solitude in this behind the scene look. Who knows what Kryptonian technology he gets his hands on, and him wanting to clone Superman, I wouldn't mind seeing Bizarro. I really was not expecting this featurette to give us this much to talk about and even change my perspective on what could be happening in this film. I'm still kind of going in blind because I don't have an exact idea what's happening in this film, but it's going to be so cool finally watching the movie and seeing all the pieces come together and hopefully it being satisfying and not a mess. This is what I throw it off to you guys. You see this behind the scene featurette for Superman. Does looking at that one white alien make you go, oh, then I really don't know what's happening in this film? Or are you just excited for the ride and waiting for it to happen? Anything and everything, be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.